Hello everyone, welcome to the channel The Inner Mind. So you can see in the playlist section there are all the videos that have been covered for the SQL
The first
and
step towards achieving your dreams is having
in this SQL you have like 5 lectures up to now. In the first lecture we covered the basic server installation, and then second lecture it was like what is data, the database, and what are the different types of databases. In the third lecture, we covered create, insert, select, and many more other commands. And in the fourth one, we did group by, having, then we used alter commands for like addition and dropping of the columns. And then we also learned about the aliases. And then we learned how to make a copy of a database and how to make a copy of a particular table. And the last lecture which was recently covered, and in that we did joins and subquery. So these 5 lectures, I would say, I will not include the first one because it is basic installation part. So these out of these 4 lectures are good enough to start with your data science journey. The basics of SQL is covered, like whatever thing that you will be requiring is covered in these 4 videos. And today's video is basically on practice session, like how to utilize all the knowledge that we have gained up to now to like how to write the queries, how to understand how to what are the different types of questions that you can get in an interview, or what are the different case scenarios where you will be seeing different questions. And we will be using all the knowledge that we have gained up to now from here. And let me take you to a page that is sqltutorial.org. So I'll be using this particular database. This is a sample database, and I'll request you to please download all the tables from here. So if you scroll down, you can see they have done a beautiful job here creating a basic sample database for MySQL, and then Postgre and Microsoft SQL Server. You also have for Oracle SQLite. So whatever platform that you have installed, you can use, you can download from here. So I'll just scroll down, and here we have Microsoft SQL Server. If I click on this first one, so you see this is the basic query to create the table, different tables. So first table is regions, then we have countries, location, jobs, departments, and employees, and then at the last we have dependents. You have to just go to this link and copy it and paste into your SQL Server, the platform whichever you are using. And this is insert based query, like inserting data into all those tables that you have just seen here. So this is the query to insert the values into those things. Okay, now let me explain you the schematic of what is it's going to be like, the ER diagram. Okay, and here you see there is a table called as jobs, and it will be having 4 different columns. First is job ID, then job title, minimum salary, and maximum salary. This particular star mark that you can see at then like start of the job ID is basically representing the primary key of this particular table jobs. Similarly, we have other table called as employees, then we have dependents, then we have departments, regions, countries, and locations. So these arrows are basically telling us the relation, like one to many, one to one. So I have not covered these things in the video, but like there are plenty of sources where from where you can learn about it. But for the basics, I don't think it is required much, but it is just to understand like how the flow is from one table to another table. So we have employees table here, and in this employee ID is the primary key. Suppose if I want to understand what is the location of any particular employee, what we have to do is we have to go from employees to department ID, and then from uh, department ID, which is connected with location ID through location tables. So employee ID will also have a column called as department ID. So this department ID is acting as a foreign key. Foreign key is basically a primary key in some other table. So department ID is primary key in departments table, and from this particular table departments we have location ID, which itself is a foreign key, and this foreign key is a primary key in another table called as locations. So this is the way like you can get the data from different tables. Now let's go to um, the questions what that will be covering here. To start with, I have copied all those codes here and I have pasted and already run it. So you can see I have named that particular database in which those queries have been stored is company database. So I have already covered how to create a database. So you can check in the first lecture or the second one. Then we have company DB, that is the name of our database. So to utilize that, we are going to run this command, use company DB, and you can see the commands completed successfully. Now I'll just do one thing, I'll make it as comment so it is easier that way. Then we have one basic query to show all the data that is inserted into the employee table. So we have select star from employees. That basically means select all the columns or all the rows from employees table. Okay, and this is the data we have got here. So when you when you are about to insert the data into your this particular table, do one thing, change the name of first employee to Hannah, HANNAH. So that is the spelling that you will be needing to change, like otherwise you can use the alter command. Okay, now I'll just comment this again, and you see here we have employee ID, first name, last name, email address, phone number, hire date, job ID, salary, manager ID, and then department ID. So uh, this is the basic structure of our employee table, and now we'll be covering few queries, or we'll be learning few concepts through that was not covered or that is not already covered into the previous lectures from here. Okay, so the first query says write a query to show the first name, last name, and salary. To do that, we are going to write select. So first name is represented by first name, comma, last name. So this is very basic query, so I don't think you will be having any problem in writing this particular query. Salary, and I'm getting this info from employees table, and if I run it, see, I got the answers of as required by the query. Okay, the second query says write a query to show first name, last name, and annual salary. Okay, I'll do one thing, I'll just select the previous one and I'll paste it again here. So now what has happened here is we are printing the salary. Okay, and in the next one we want annual salary, and we all know that annual salary is nothing but monthly salary multiplied by 12 month salary. Okay, or 12. So I'm just going to do a mathematical operation on this, and I'm going to make it multiply by 12. I'll club it into one single unit by putting them into parentheses, and I will be using a concept called as alias here, and I'll name it as annual salary. Okay, it is mandatory to use underscore because I cannot use space here. So let me show you. You see, I am getting an error here because to make a identifier or a good name, you have to use underscore because space is not allowed. Okay, now let's see if this works. Now you see I'm getting the first name, last name, and annual salary. So we can directly perform mathematical operations on the column itself. The next query says write a query to give bonus of 5% to each employee. Then we have to also print the first name, last name, and new salary. So this is very similar to the last one. Now here we know that we have to give a bonus of 5%. So bonus of 5% basically means whatever the current salary is, it is going to be like suppose if it was 100 and after the bonus it will be 105 because 5% of 100 is 5 rupees. So it becomes 100 plus 5. So the basic formula is multiplying it by 1.05. So like if you take 100% as 1 and increasing the salary by 5%, so it is basically 0.05, so it becomes 1.05. Okay, otherwise what you can do is salary into bracket salary plus salary into 5% of 100. You can do that way. So I'm just using basics mathematics here, so I'm changing this from annual salary to new salary. And you see this is on the basis of bonus. Okay. Moving down to the next query, write a query to give the full name in one column. So this query is basically focusing on one concept that is called as concatenation. So concatenation is basically adding up two different strings. Strings are like a group of words, a group of characters written in double quotes. So I want the full names. Full name is basically first name plus last name. So if I write select, so to like concatenate, we have a function called concat. So here I'll write first name comma, sorry, it's name, then comma, we have last name as full name from employee. Now if I run this, okay, again I said I cannot use space, but I have used here. Okay, that's good now. So the problem now you can see is we are not getting any separation here. The first name and last name is getting merged into one single name. So what we have to do is we have to put a space here. How to do that? Okay. So there are two different ways. Okay. First is using concat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to concat one more thing between these strings, and that is space. So I'm going to concat space in between first name and last name. So if I run it now, you see I'm getting the space. The other way is instead of using concat function, I can just simply use plus symbol. Okay, the plus arithmetic operator, I can use that. So I'm adding this with a space, and that space it added with another column name, that is last name, and then I'm merging it, and you see the results are still the same. So there are two ways to do the concatenation. Either you use concat function or also you can use the plus sign. The next question says the list of all the employees hired after 1995. Okay, so if you remember the first query here, So in this we have a column called as hired it. If you do not want to run this query again and again, you can go to the left side and you can search for the employees table here, and in that you have columns. In that you can see it is hire underscore date. You can do that way. So the question says we have to find a set of employees who have been hired, like who were hired after 1995. So I'm going to write select. Let's print all the information of all those employees from employees. Now this is a condition that is to be checked. So to check a condition, if you remember, we used a clause that is called as where clause. Okay, where hire date is the name of our column. Where hire date, I'm asking after 1995. So my hiring date is greater than 1995. So will that work? Let's check it. Why is it not working? Okay, so let's understand the error. Date is incompatible with small int. So basically what error we are getting is we are getting an error of date format type. So if you see that if you have like if you check here, you see the format of date, it is YY, MM and DD. So if you want it to be matched properly, we also have to maintain this format in our query. So the date says after 1995. Okay, so it is 12th month, that is December, and in December last day will be 31. Okay, 31st of December 1995. Now if I run the query, I'm having all the people who joined after 1995, and if I change it to lower side, so I'll be getting employees before this particular date. Now you see it's 1987. Okay, 1995, and that too in 5th, that is August, suppose, then 6th month. Okay, so all the dates now we are seeing that means the people hired before this date. Okay, so this was using date function. Now list of the employees hired after 1995 and having salary greater than 8,000. Now we have here two conditions, not just one, we have two conditions here. How to do that? So if you remember, we had a keyword called as and. Okay, so and is basically like using two different condition and merging them into a single one. So and what is the salary? Salary is greater than 8,000. So if I run it now, you see, so what is happening here, the where clause is considering both the condition, that is hire date is less than this and the salary is greater than this. Okay, it is after, right? So it is this. Okay, good. So it is basically giving us the data when the both conditions are fulfilled, because we are using AND operator, and AND operator works or gives us the result only when all the conditions, like both the conditions, are satisfied. Okay, then we have the next query as list of all employees hired after 1995 and having annual salary greater than 8,000. Okay, so this both looks same, but there is a reason I have written having clause here. So there is also a clause called as having clause. So try not to get confused with that, because here you do not like I'm not mentioning that particular keyword, but here I'm using having as a general English word to make a query out of the given condition here. Okay, so now I'll just select the previous one. So the difference which you can up to now you might have noted here is I'm asking for the annual salary. Okay, so annual salary I'm going to compare. So star 12. So I'm going to compare the annual salary. If that particular thing is, so here, if the annual salary is above 8,000, okay, there's something wrong, I suppose. It's 80,000. Okay, so if the annual salary is greater than 80,000, you do not get confused with this salary that it is showing 8,200 here, because this is not the annual salary. What here we are calculating is annual salary. So do not confuse with this particular thing. Okay. Now going back to the next question, list of all the employees hired between 1994 and this. Okay. Let me comment it. So I'm going to cover one other keyword here is between, where hire date is between these two dates. Okay, so there are two things which you can do here. Either you write the dates here. So suppose I want 1994-01-01. So I'm writing it this way using date between this date and the other date will be 1996 12/31. So either you can write this way or you can use month function along with date timestamp. So you can use also that to just compare the years, not the whole date. So you can even compare like extract month from this and then compare. So you can also use that way. So these people were hired between these given dates. Okay, so if I'm asking not hired, okay, so how are we going to do that? So to do that we have another keyword called as not. Okay, the negation one. And how to use that, where hired date not between. So we are going to get all the employees which were not hired between this particular range. Okay. The next question is the list of the employees having department ID as 129 and job ID as 431. Okay, so select star from employees where department ID. So this is the name of the column. So I have to check the department ID in this list. So I'm going to use in. So my department ID is in this list. If it is lying in between in this list and job ID in 4311. If that is the case, give me the result. So in this we learned how to use in clause. Okay, so in is basically going to help us to choose a certain list of conditions based on the, like we have a list and we have to choose out of this. Okay, so we are going to compare if the department ID is same as one of the element in this given list. Okay, list of all the employees whose names start with L. Okay, so before doing this let me cover one concept. So this is like a pattern matching program. Okay, and if we have percentage sign, so this basically is referring to like n numbers of characters, but if we are using underscore, it is basically referring to exact number of characters. So if I have written, okay, let me explain it in a query for like answer. So select first name from employees where first name, so first name is like something, so we'll be using first name like is a keyword that is going to help us to with matching. So it is going to start with L. So the first letter we know L, and after that it can be anything, okay, and n number of characters. So percentage sign is going to take care of that. Okay, now if I run it, so we have two people with the name Lex and Louis. You see, Lex has 3 characters, whereas Louis has 4 characters. So L% means the first is L, and after that it can have any character, it does not matter. Okay, so that is what we wanted to check. The next is list of the employees having AM in the end of their first name. Okay, how to do that? So we have AM at the end. So it in start it can have anything, and at end it should have AM. So it is percentage AM. Now let's see if it is giving us the correct result. Yes. So we have Adam, Payam, and William. These are the people who have AM at the last in their names. Okay. So list of the name having EX in it. So this particular query, it does not specify whether it is at the start or at the end. So EX can be anywhere, whether it could be in between, it could be even at the last, it could even be in the start. So when we write percentage sign, it does not, like, if there is no character before it, so it is okay, it will ignore. If it is at the end, like, it does not, it's not compulsory that there should be some character. So percentage, basically, if it is there, it's well and good. If it is not there, it's good in that case also. So percentage EX percentage, so that way we are going to get, if any character is number of characters before EX and any number of characters after EX, or either case is acceptable. So you see, we have Alex, then we Alexander. We have 2 names of Alexander. So we are getting 3 names in this case. Then we have a list of the names having 4 characters only. So in this query, how is it different than the previous one? In this, we are specifying exact number of characters here. So the name should have 4 characters. So for that, we are using underscore representing 1 character. So 4 characters means 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this underscore, basic 4 times underscore is being repeated here. So that means if any name is having 4 characters, it does not matter like what 4 characters, it can be even special characters. So if that is the case, give all those names. So we have John, Louis, Adam, John, and Jack. These are the 4 people with 4 characters in the name. So we have list of all the names having 1 character before and after OH. So again, now we know, like, it is same as EX1, but here we are specifying that we have 1 character at the start, 1 character at the last. So you see, we have John in this case, and John should be the answer. So there are 2 John, and we are getting John and John. The next question says, show all the first name in capital letter and the last name in lower letter. So we have select first name, and not sorry and comma last name from employees. Okay, but what's happening here, we need we just don't need the names, but we need capital and a small constraint over that. So for that we have to use upper constraint for upper cases, and for lower cases we have the constraint, yes, you have guessed it right, it's lower. Now if I run it, I'll get the first name as capital and second name as lower. But you see, since this function is being used on the first name, that's why I'm not getting any heading name here. So the next question says first name as capital and last name as small and add them as a full name. Okay, so we just don't need this, we just we also have to add this. So adding was done by using concat function. So what I'll do is I'll select this, I'll use concat, and also I'll concat space in between them. Now you see Hannah King, and I'm going to give it name it as full name. So here's it is the answer: Hannah King, Nina Kocher, Lex Dehan, Alexander, and so on. I'll make it as a comment. The next query is show all the names if the length of the first name is less than 5. So we have a function called as len. Okay, so this is what we will be using. So show all the names. Okay, let's keep it first name from employees, where it is asking me the length of the first name. Okay, calculating the length is less than 5. If that is the case, we are getting the name. You can even print the names length here. You see the Lex has 3, John has 4 character, Louis has 4. So these are the lengths and these are the names. Okay, so we have the first, if we just want to show the first character of the first name, how to do that? Okay, the first character or the last character, to do this, we what are we exactly doing? We are finding a part of the string. Okay, we are removing a part of the string. So a part of the string is going to be extracted by a function called as substring. So we are going to find select. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to first print the first name, and then we are going to use the function called as substring. In this function you have to give the expression like from which you are going to extract, from which particular string you are going to extract this substring. So I'm going to extract it from first name. Then we have starting position. Okay, you have to give a number from where you want to start this search. Okay, so I want the first character, right? So I'll be starting from the first. And how many characters you want to print in that substring? So in my substring I want first character, so it will be just one character, and that's it, from employees. Now if I run it, you see I'm getting H from Hannah, N from Nina, L from Lex. That is how we get. Now I'll copy this and show the last character. Okay, similarly we are going to find the last character. So starting position should be from the last, right? So how to do that? Okay, so we know that we have covered a function called as len. Okay, so what we are going to do, len is going to give us the length of the string. Okay, so if instead of first position, if we give this function, so this is going to give us the last, like how many characters are there. So suppose in Hannah we have 5, so we'll be getting 5. Okay, start from 5 and give 1. Is that the case? Let's see. So yes, it is working. So start from here and get number 1 character, give us the 1 character. What if I write here -1? What is not 1, but if I let's write 2, what we are going to get here? Let's check that. So even if we are writing 2, still we are getting 1 character. Why? Because it is going to start from here, and after this it is counting 2, but we have 1 character only. That's why we are getting just H and no more characters. And if I write here 2 and -2, what is the answer? It's not working here. So that means reverse transversal is not possible in this case. But if I want last 2, how I'm going to do? Length -1 and then 2. Now you see, length -1 is basically I'm standing here, and then from here 2 characters, that is up to here. Let's go to the next question. Show third to fifth character from first name if the name length is more than 7. Okay, so I'll copy this, I'll modify it here. Select first name, substring first name, and we want third to 7th. So we want it from 3rd to 5th, sorry. Start from 3rd to 5th from employees, and we have a condition here where length of the first name is less than 7. So here it is. So all the names who have a number of characters less than 7, okay, it is more than 7. No issues. So these are the names. Show all the names if the first letter is not vowel. So in the previous case, we used, if you remember, in commands. For that in, we were checking given like character, it is between the list, like if the character element is in the given list. So here our list is going to be vowels. Okay, so select first name if the first character is not a vowel. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, okay, let me first write first name from employees where, so I have to find the substring. Okay, first name, and we are going to check just the first one, right? So first character not in so our so let's run it. If So these are the names. Okay, to remove the condition of like case biasness, we can do one thing. We can use lower keyword and we'll convert the first letter to lowercase, and then we'll compare. In this way, even if it is capital letter, it's going to get converted to lowercase and then it is going to get compared. And here it is the answer. Okay. Okay, so this is not any query. This is basically the order how and in which particular order a command is executed. First, the from statement is executed, then where clause is executed, then group by, then having, then select, and in the last order by clause is executed. Okay. Now we have another query: replace B with M in Bangalore. So select the function that we'll be using now is replace. So replace is going to do, it is going to replace something with other thing. So replace P with M. So replace in this with this B character, replace in this Bangalore this B character with M character. So this is you see Bangalore has become Mangalore. So this is a tricky question. Find the number of commas here. Okay. So how is there any way to count the number of commas here? If you want any function, so there is no direct function, but you have to use the previous functions which you have learned up to now and use some logic to find out. So you see, there was a function called as length, and we just recently did replace. So what are we going to do is we are going to count the length of these function, these characters here. So let's use this select. Okay, then we are going to use length, and this is my string. Okay, and out of this string, if we subtract after replacing the comma with some other value, so we are going to replace in this, what we are going to replace, we are going to replace comma here with no spaces. Like it is like we are just removing it. If we give space here, so it is going to add space instead of comma, but if we do not give anything, it is just simply going to delete that part. Okay, it is going to delete that space. So if I run it, so we have 5 here. First we have 4 characters here and then 4 comma, so 5 comma, so it was 9. And if we remove it, we have 1 2 3 4. So we are replacing the commas with null values, no spaces, so we will be left with A B C D. Okay, now A B C D is 4, and total we have 9 characters. 9 minus 4, we are getting 5. So if you count 1 2 3 4 and 5, so we had total 5 commas here, and that is the output we are getting here. So there is a function to reverse the string like we had in Python, and as the name suggests, the function is nothing but just reverse. Select reverse. Let's reverse the first name, from employees. And you see I have got the reverse name. Okay, so check for the palindrome name. Palindrome is basically a word that is, if it is read from the back direction or it would read from the front direction, both time it is going to be same, such as Malayalam or mom. So if you read it from the left to right or from right to left, it is going to be same. Okay, so the question is to check for any name if it is if it is reversed and it's still the same. Okay, so let's check it. So we are going to print all the details from employee where first name is equals to reverse of the first name. Okay, that's simple, and let's run it. You see we have got Hannah. So that is the name that I have told you to change while entering the data, because this was the concept that I wanted to teach, to reverse and check it. So this is the command. And one more thing, that there are certain commands that you cannot use with Microsoft SQL Server, and so don't worry, you can always check a substitute for that command, what exactly that command is for SQL or Oracle or something else. Okay, the next we have trim command. Trim is basically used to remove uh, any spaces. Okay, so in this case, trim first M from madam, so I'll be writing select trim, then we have MADAM, and in this what we are going to remove, we have to mention. So it is telling us to remove the first M, so it is basically leading M. So the command is leading M, and from where? From madam. So you see we have Adam. Similarly, if it is last, so instead of leading we'll be writing trailing. Trim we have for left space, right space, and also for both side space. Suppose okay, just let me copy the code. So we have this string with some spaces in the start, some spaces at the last. So we are going to use ltrim to remove the number of spaces. And before doing that, let me write select len function so that we can know exactly how many spaces are there. So if we run it, we know that there are total 9 characters. Out of that, 5 we have here and 4 left, that is 2 spaces here and 2 at the bottom. Now if we run this ltrim, now we have just space, and if we write len here, we are going to get, sorry, not here. So ltrim is basically trimming from the left side, and we have 5 here. We'll remove the len function here. and let's run it ltrim, rtrim and trim. So you see ltrim is removing from the left side, rtrim is basically removing from the right side, and trim is basically removing from both sides. Okay, so that is how it works. Find the details of the employee with odd department ID. So we have select star from employees where. Now it is telling me to check whether department ID is odd. So in that case, what we have to do is department ID. We have to use an operator called %2. So this is also called as modulus operator. Okay. So odd, this is going to give us the remainder. So 4 modulus 2 is basically give us 0, whereas 5 modulus 2 is going to give us 1 because that's the remainder. So 5 modulus 3 is going to give us 2 as a remainder. So if I have to check whether it is odd or even, so we have to divide it by 2, and if the remainder is 0, it's even, otherwise it's false. So if it is 0, it's even, but we want odd number, so it is not 0. Okay. So these are the people with department ID not even. You see all the department IDs are odd number. And if we remove this, we are going to get all the even numbers here. So next command that we are going to learn is index. So index is basically to find the index of certain characters. Okay. So if there is a word called as banana, and if we want to find at what position a given character is, so we are going to use char index. Okay. So select char index. Now in this char index, what we are going to check, we are going to check for NA, and where we are going to check, we are going to check in banana, and this is going to give us the first occurrence. Okay. So the first NA has occurred at third, starting from third position. B is at 1, A is at 2, and N starting NA is, it is like checking in a group NA. So NA is starting from third position. Okay. But if we want it to be specified at particular location, so we can give at the last from what position you are going to check it after fourth. Okay, so I have to write this. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So it will ignore up to this, and after that it will start checking. So it is coming at fifth position here. So let's add 2 or few more characters, and now it is going to give. So it is telling that it is starting from 8th position. Now I'm going to use again, this is basically a substring. So find, so we have to print J Nanda from Bridge Nandan. Okay, so what we are going to use is select. Okay, so we know this is a substring problem, substring. Okay, from where we are going to use, so it is Bridge Nandan, and in this what we have is we have to start from J Nanda, from we have to like extract J Nanda. So either we can count here and give starting position is 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry 4, and then the last character, how many characters are there in this, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we don't want it up to 11, so we want it from here to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. sorry. Okay, one is this way, but if I, instead of, I have to do it not for the Brijnandan but for the first name, how we are going to do that? So it is not possible to count the characters. So the other way is we have to check the position of J where it is occurring. Okay, so we can use char index here. Char index. So we are going to find the index of what particular character? We are going to find the index of J from Brijnandan. We are going to find the character index from Brijnandan. Okay, that is done. And we want 7 characters. Okay, you can write 7 here. So you see output is still the same. So next one is write a query to display department ID, total salary from each department. Okay, so the query will be select. We want department ID, right? So we have department ID. What else do we need? We need total salary. So we had just salary, but we need total salary. So we are going to use the function sum of salary as total salary so this is total salary, okay, from each department. Okay, so how is like how we can achieve that part? So to achieve that part, we have covered one keyword that is called as group by. So we are going to group all the departments on the basis of their department ID. And once that is done, we are going to find the sum of all the salaries in that given department. Okay, so I'm going to print department ID and then sum grouped over department ID. So department 1 has total salary of 44,000, so 4,400 and 19,000 and so on. So next query says is write a query to display the name and salary of employees earning more than Nina. So this here is an example where we'll be using subqueries. Okay, so we have select. So let's first find the salary of Nina. Select salary. This is the approach that you should understand. Okay, select salary from employees where first name is Nina. Now in this query, we are going to understand how to break a complex query into smaller part. So write a query to display the name and salary of employees. So this is one query. Okay, display the name and salary of employees earning. Okay, now the second constraint says more than Nina's salary. So how, so like we cannot use directly into the where clause because we do not know the salary being earned by Nina. We do not know the Nina salary. So first let's understand what is the Nina salary, only then we'll be able to compare it. Okay, so okay, 17,000 is the salary of Nina. Okay, so what is happening here? So when the salary is greater than Nina's salary, because this particular thing is going to give us Nina salary. Okay, so when the salary is greater than this, we want all the details. So that's it, that's it, that's it. Select star from employees where salary is greater than Nina's salary. So I suppose you now know how to write a complex query. So we just have one person, that is Hannah, and whose salary is greater than Nina's salary. So for any complex query, you have to divide your main question into subsections. Only then you are going to figure it out. So next question is also something very similar. So we want write a query to display the name and salary of employees earning more than average salary. Okay. So display the name and salary of employees, that is okay. So that is one such query. But the other one is saying, other part is saying earning more than average salary. Okay. So here it is asking for average salary. How will we know what is the average salary? So we have to first calculate the average salary. So this is the function, avg function. So this particular portion is going to give us average salary from employees. Okay. Now even now if I had another question like average salary greater than average salary of a given department here. Okay. So we can even use group by here. Okay. Something similar to this, group by department ID and average salary, we can find that way. And then out of that, if the question was given like more than average salary of this department, so first you have to filter out the department wise, then the salary you get from there, then you have to compare that particular answer here. So you have to figure it in that way. Okay. You have to break your main questions into smaller questions. So these people are getting more than average salary. So write a query to count the number of employees earning more than average salary. So this is going to get selected, and here I have to count. Okay. So total 17 people are getting more than average salary. So star is basically all the rows. So count is a function that we are adding here. So counting all the rows which are having this kind of results. Okay, that was the answer. And the last one which we have here is write a query for first name and salary for employees working at London and Oxford. So this is a bit complicated query, and we'll learn two things here, aliases and how to break it into simple query form. Okay. So first thing is name of the employees working in London and Oxford, and we know that in employee table there is no such column called as, okay, in employee table there is no such column that says about city, right? And we know there is another table called as locations that has city. So basically the London and Oxford are the values in city column, and that is to be checked for employees here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the department ID that is located for this particular city, and then that department ID is going to be compared with employee table, and from that if it matches then I'm going to get the employee ID. Okay, so that is the basic flow. And now let's write the query one by one. So not where, sorry, select we have locations that, sorry, location ID, that is if you go to this here we have location ID as primary key, and that is also in departments. Okay, so that's why we will be taking that particular column, location ID. Okay, from where we are taking this, we are taking it from locations. That is the name of our table. Okay, I'm naming this table as L, that is an alias, because we have to use multiple tables, where city. Okay, so for that we have to use L dot location here. So location ID from table L, and L is what? Locations. That is the name of our table, where city column, L dot city column of table L is in, we have here Oxford, and we also have got London. Now if I run this, you see this is the location ID of all the places that are London and Oxford. So this is one thing. Okay, so this is the query to get the location ID of Oxford and London. So now this result is going to be compared with some other table. So we have got a location ID. Now department table, from department table, if the location ID is matching with this, then we have to select those things. So now select, so D is basically referring to the departments. Okay, and we are going to find what? Department ID, department ID in, sorry, not in, from departments. That is the name of our table, and we'll be referring it as D. Select department ID from departments, where location ID. So location ID of what? Location ID column from departments. Okay, is having the value from this particular query, and that is 2400 and 2500. So now what it is, select the department ID. Okay, we have to find all those department IDs from department table, where the location ID in department table is same as the location ID which we get from here, and this particular query is giving us two location IDs. So a location ID for Oxford and London, that is 2400 and 2500. So basically we are going to compare, find the department IDs of all the departments which are having location ID as 2400 and 2500. So this is one query, and this is second query. Okay, let's run this step by step. It will be much more clear to you. So the department ID which are having like city locations as London and Oxford are 4 and 8. So if the department ID is 4 and 8, print all the details. So select, let's print all the details from employees table, where department ID Let's name this as E, where E dot department ID from employee table is in this below query. So we have this, and if we run this, okay, we are missing something. Invalid column name department ID. Oh, sorry. Let's put it first name only. From employee has E, where E dot department ID. Oh, we have not mentioned T here. My bad. Now if I run it, again spelling mistake. E dot department ID N select D dot department ID from departments as D, where location ID. Locations. Okay, it's DEPAR. My bad again. Now let's run it. Okay, so these are the names, and also I can print here the department ID, E dot department ID. We can also print the location, and location is from L dot location ID, and we can also print the city, and it's L dot city. And now if we run it, okay, what's wrong here? Okay, this is wrong because it's referring to different table. Okay, no issues. Department IDs. These are the department IDs located in Oxford and London. So I think like you might have understood the basic idea how to solve the complex queries. You have to just break it into smaller queries and then you try to solve. And I hope you can now be like you can solve many more queries now from sqlpractice.com or any other source. I prefer this because you can categorize on the basis of easy, medium, and hard, and you can just also see all the questions here, and you can also you have two different database, hospital database and Northwind database. The quality of questions in this like it's quite good. I have solved all, and it's like quite interesting. If you learn a lot good concepts here, and while solving, if you feel that you do not have much idea, there are also, like if I start it here, okay, and if I'm not able to solve it, I'll just get hints here. So this is my expected output. This was the first hint, okay, and yeah, and the bottom you will be getting second hint also, and that will be like what are the different keywords being used. And still, if you do not figure it out what is the correct answer, you can go to learning resources, and from there you can read about that particular keyword and how to use those keywords. So it's a good way to practice and good source to make your experience in more strong. And I wish all the best to you, and this is all in the SQL basics for data science. Thank you so much. If you have not watched all the previous videos, please uh, go through them and watch it, and you can also watch the Python part. And the last part is, please share with your friends, like and share, subscribe it if you find this content good enough. Thank you so much.